Okay, we are live. We're going to make some more food up in the kitchen. I hope you're well. It's good to see you all. I hope you can hear me. Give me a moment. I'm going to share some links so that people can come and find us. 1 second. Hope you're all well out there. Wonderful. I hope we're all well out there today, having a great day out there. I'm regretting the hot plate turning on already because it's boiling my face off. It's quite a nice day, but I can't really open the door. Maybe I should. Let's find out. Anyway, let's also send out a tweet. Let's pop that in there. Excellent. So, what are we going to do today? You've probably seen from the thumbnail, it's some ancient recipe. Ancient. Some of you listening might not think this is ancient. Depends. But I was away recently. Let me get something on that. Okay. So I know where I am. And I got hold of the Family Circle Thrifty Cookbook. Doesn't that look appetizing? What I particularly like is that everything looks raw in this picture here. The meat looks raw, the vegetables look uncooked. There's certainly no caramelisation on that. It's very, very strange. And bargain price of £1.50 as well. It's absolutely fascinating. I love a cookery book because unknowingly to them, they are a time capsule of of how we were. I mean, so 1969, the end of the swinging 60s, if you were in Carnaby Street. But for most people, they were just getting on with their lives. In fact, the very first title in the book is Making the Most of Your Housekeeping Money, Managing Your Budget. And there's lots of she and housewife. It's the woman is managing the budget here with lovely diagrams of 3 pence off, peaches 2 and 6. Fantastic. So I couldn't resist it when I saw this in the bookshop, lovely second-hand bookshop in Newport in the Isle of Wight. Shout out to the Isle of Wight, massive. So I'm just pressing a load of buttons on my stream. Can't remember what all that means. Looking ahead, there was lots in there, lots of recipes that really caught my eye, lots of absolute weirdness, which consider weird now. You know, in 1969, I was surprised to see a recipe for quick pizza because I always thought pizzas came about a bit later than that into the mainstream. They certainly were around. Pizza Express opened in 67, I think, the first one. But to have a recipe for a pizza in a book like this, you know, it's Family Circle, so it's real. I don't mean this as an insult. Middle of the road stuff. You know, it's to appeal to everyone. Is my point. Absolutely to appeal to everyone. So, yeah, lots of strange things on there. And I popped a vote out last week, I think, saying, "What do you want me to make?" And I want to find this one, which is the one I hoped would get made. But I'll do it another day. This is called Being Prepared. Oh, look at this. Look at this beauty. That's called Spicy Egg Fluff. I'll say it again. Spicy Egg Fluff. Madness. I mean, you've got this, I believe is instant mashed potato on a bed of spinach, and then they whipped egg. Madness. Absolute madness. I'm so making this at some point. Cheese curry, not paneer, not paneer. No, that good Indian cheese that comes out in lots of recipes, but cheddar. Yeah, I know. But the one you voted for, which I'm going to make today, it's not super unusual, but it has a bonkers name, like a really out there name, and that's fried chicken with cucumber sauce. Fried chicken with cucumber sauce. Take that in for a minute. Fried chicken, cucumber sauce. Madness. Again. I'll just read through the ingredients. 4 small chicken joints. Now, it's unusual to hear the phrase joints for chicken. I believe what they mean is like the leg and thigh, which my mum used to get ages ago, a long time ago. And then it calls for flour, margarine. These are all in ounces, so I'm going to have to tell my scales to convert. Chicken stock cube, boiling water, 2 tablespoons top of the milk. Now, I'm old enough that we used to have milk delivered, so it would sit on the doorstep in a glass bottle, and the top of the milk means literally that, the creamy bit at the top. Then in the 70s and 80s, homogenisation became a thing. Homogenising is a Ponzi word for we shook it up so that it all blended into one thing. But before homogenisation, you used to get a creamy bit at the top of the milk. So I'm just using a splash of cream. Salt and pepper, half a cucumber. That's for 4 people. I'm going to scale it down sort of a bit, by a little more than half. So, fried chicken with cucumber sauce. First of all, coat the joints in flour. So let's get my frying pan heating up. That'll be nice. And then I'm going to bowl for my chicken. It's all glamorous stuff, this, guys. Where's going to be a good place for you to see it? Let's pop it over there. Very specifically, 2 ounces of flour. Okay, well, 2 ounces. So I'm popping it on there. Units currently in grams, so I'll change it to ounces, and then I'll forget that next time I want to use it, and I'll be like, what's it saying? I think 2 ounces is 160 grams? No, yeah, about 160 grams, something like that, in that ballpark. So 2 ounces, I can't even tell if I'm reading the scales right. That's 1 ounce. Exciting, watching someone measure flour, isn't it? 2 ounces. So if you ever want to know, that's what 2 ounces of flour looks like, apparently. It's not a lot. And this recipe's for 4, and I've kept that amount the same. Grab a quick knife. So, I've just got hold of chicken leg. It's quite a meaty one, it's got plenty attached. So it's just for me tonight, so I'm just going to cook that one by itself. So that flour is presumably going to give us a nice golden crust on the outside of the chicken, but also it's going to melt into the saucepan. Just wash my hands 1 second. Right, now it says melt the margarine in the pan. Well, I'm not using margarine, that's insanity. Margarine was all the rage then, it was dirt cheap, it was the new wonder food. It does say to weigh it out, but I'm not sure I can be bothered. I'm going to go for that much, plus that much. Those of you that watched my sea bass live stream might know that I don't have a lot of practice with this thing. Kindly lent to me by my friends. Thank you very much. I should have given it back to them the weekend, but I didn't. I must get my own one because. So, just going to tipple that around the pan. Check on some diagnostic-y, analytic-y things and make sure everything's okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's quite a gentle, which I'm quite happy about. So I'm going to fry the chicken slowly for 20 to 25 minutes, turning occasionally until golden brown and tender. So let's do that. It's only a slight sizzle, but we've got to cook all the way through this. I'll be honest, it's not my preferred way to cook a chicken leg like this. The bone in it's going to keep it colder for longer and harder to penetrate all the way through to the middle. So the occasional bits I'm going to deviate from this recipe. I think, for one thing, I'm going to use a probe thermometer to make sure it's cooked all the way through the middle. It would be a waste of time otherwise. I might transfer it to the oven. I'll see how I feel in a minute. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm going to transfer it to the oven. So I'm going to get the oven. That's 200 oven because I want it to cook quickly before it dries out. There are a few things more satisfying than listening to things sizzle in a pan, right? I've never been told to season the chicken, and it's driving me mad that I'm not seasoning the chicken. So I think I'm going to do that. I should have probably done it in the flour, but you know, we'll live. I'm just going to leave that there a minute. We'll come back to it. Get the flour out of the way. Bit of salt, lovely, lovely. Yeah, I'm going to turn this up a bit so it browns nicely and quickly, and then I can get on with cooking it in the oven. So this goes up to 6. Let's try 4.5. Oh, we are getting some colour, that's good. I can't imagine it would be cooked all the way through before blackening completely that surface. We'll see. That side. It's not going to do a lot seasoning on the surface like this, so we've got a sauce coming, and I might have to make sure I season that meat after coming out. So essentially, while the recipe is mad, fried chicken with cucumber sauce, you fry chicken, and then using the fond, the remnants in the pan, you make a roux with butter and flour, or flour and margarine, add milk, cream, a bit of stock, and I add cucumber to it, which is bonkers, frankly. But oh, chicken's on the move. It's starting to cook now. Excellent. Grab a cloth. So we're prepared for everything. So how are we doing today? Been busy much? I'm annoyed with the weather today. It was cold and it was hot. Really annoying. You can hear we're going to get some lovely colour on that chicken now. It looks like it's dancing, which is, you know, it's more active than me on the camera. It's good. We can take a minute to chat while that chicken browns and see how it's going. What have you been up to today? A reminder for those of you that missed it, I'm doing from the Family Circle Thrifty Cookbook, fried chicken with cucumber sauce, voted for by people on my YouTube channel. So it's your fault if I have a terrible dinner. I've been looking around these other chicken recipes in this book, and there's lots of weird things. Over here under winter casserole, which sounds very nice. It's a pearl barley based one. We're probably heading out of the season where that would be appropriate, but in a few months' time we'll have another look. So, winter casserole, 1 chicken, 2.5 pounds drawn weight. I don't know what drawn weight means. Do you know what drawn weight means? I'd love it if you could tell me in the comments. I've got a feeling it's a grim answer. I don't know. Okay, so as I predicted, we're getting some colour already, which is fantastic. Just what I'm after. But there's absolutely no way that's going to be cooked in time before that starts to blacken. So I think my instincts are right. I'm going to finish this in the oven once I've coloured the side nearest me as well. Tip this over. Got plenty of butter sitting around the edge doing nothing. So let's get that cooking. Nice to have some more of you out there. So I'm just going to share that again. Excuse me a moment. Sorry, just grabbing some people out of the ether to come and help. Letting them know that I've gone live. So chicken, it's crisping up nicely. Pleased with that so far. Going to struggle to get colour on this knuckle end simply because it's just in the wrong place. So I'm just going to get a pan in my oven now so it's getting hot. Clever me, I had one in there already. I forgot about that. So what happens here, obviously as you fry chicken, it leaves stuff in the pan. There's a nice word for that, fond. There's all that gunk that gets stuck on the bottom of your saucepan. But then we're going to lift it all up with a sauce in a moment. Which reminds me, I'm just going to get the kettle boiled. So that's going to make a noise for a minute, super professional. Few things make you hungrier than that sizzling noise. So I'm just playing around. Some of you know I'm new to this live streaming lark, so I'm pressing all different buttons to see what happens when you press it. But I hope you're enjoying it. It's popping. Fantastic. Right, my kettle's boiled. I think that's coloured enough now. It's got a nice dry coating on the outside, so the skin started to blister, the fat started to render out. So I'm going to remove that to my baking tray in the oven now. So I'm going to go over that one. I'll be right back. And popping that back on the heat to carry on with the rest of the sauce. Their instructions, do that for 20 minutes until it's golden brown and tender. I'm not sure, as I said. I think finishing it in the oven is the way. And then you take them out and put them on a warm serving dish while you make this sauce. Now I'm going to turn that down a bit again because I don't think it needs to be a roaring heat. So I'm not going to worry about that. Leave that as it is. Lovely. So I've got the rest of my flour tip that in. I'm going to make the sauce. Red spatula of doom. And then this is, for those of you who've ever made a sauce before, if you've made a white sauce for lasagna, this is how you do it. So we've got loads of lovely chickeny goodness on the bottom of that pan. And that flour is going to come together and thicken it. There is not enough liquid in that pan, so I'm going to add a bit of butter in. So all that chickeny goodness on the bottom is going to get lifted off and put into my sauce here. So we're just going to melt that through, bind it with the flour. I think the ratio is slightly off here, but we've got other things we're going to add to the pan. Really, you want something, I guess, approaching a paste, usually, rather than this sort of sandy mess I've got at the moment. But it's okay, we can fix it, it's no problem. I'm just going to get all that flour toasted off, then I can moisten it a bit. If I add more liquid at this stage, it will just go all blobby and messy. That's a very technical term, blobby and messy. You might not have heard that before if you haven't been to culinary school. But the flour essentially will just sprinkle everywhere and it will just look horrendous. We need to just moisten it up. So this is now toasted flour, butter and chicken fat, schmaltz if you prefer, all toasting together in the pan. So now I'm going to knock up a quick stock using a stuck cube. I say stuck cube. So I set fiddle in my oven. I use Knorr stock pots. I think the flavour's great. I think they're super convenient. Not sponsored. I have been sponsored by them in the past, but not for years. One of those things, they send you freebies to try, and you actually end up really liking it. And it's part of my normal store cupboard. I've always got them in the cupboard because they're incredibly handy. So it wants 3/4 of a pint of stock. Don't spill it on your hands like I do. Luckily, I've got asbestos hands from years of making mistakes like that. Disaster. Right, let's stir that through. Nice, 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 nice. It'll take a little while to dissolve. I am obviously going to pour them into a hot pan, so I'm not that worried. If I splash all of this in at once, then I'll just get a big floury mess. It can be rescued, but the chances of it working while I'm live streaming are slim. So therefore, I'm just going to pour in a little bit at a time. See that like tablespoon of that? Just going to bring that in. Again, if any of you have ever made a white sauce before, this is the same idea. I think I could be wrong. I think we're making a velouté here when you make it with stock and then cream, but I've never been taught, so happy to be proved wrong in that case. See, so we've gone from this chalky mess now to this sort of plasticine gummy paste. Doesn't look terribly appealing, but trust me, once all the fluid gets in and it's all dilute, it'll look much better. And one feature that YouTube is lacking is the ability to transmit a smell. I know YouTube has got a new CEO, so maybe they're working on that, but you know, it just smells so chickeny in here. Obviously we fried the chicken in this pan and now I'm adding stock to it. And this is coming together nicely. I'm really pleased with this. This is good. This is good. This is good. So the recipe just says dump it in. That's never going to work. As I said earlier, the flour is just going to separate and just fall a big powdery mess. It will be completely unappetizing. It can be tasty, but you'll have these blobs of flour everywhere, and it's just not nice. Some bits of my stock cube not dissolved. I'm going to get all of this in here gradually, and then we'll be adding our top of the milk or cream. I think I've splattered on this book. This book that is 54 years old. I have to think about that. Available on Amazon, I think. I definitely saw it. Certainly on eBay. It was just in a lovely little bookshop. You know, one of those rare finds. I don't really see second-hand bookshops anymore. I think charity shops have kind of taken their place and, you know, become the place where books go to die. A proper curated second-hand bookshop. The guy knew where everything was, and it was just tiny, but he could find you any book. It was great. And his cookery book selection was fantastic. I bought a couple of others there as well. Okay, I can probably be a bit more bold now with the liquid. You sort of get to I guess a point of hydration where the flour is going to expand. But I can tell you now, the colour of this is going to be gross. It's going to taste alright, but judging by this, it's going a sort of baby food grey. I don't think it's going to be perfect. Put it that way. Okay. Again, if you see me pause for a minute, click on stuff, I'm just checking everything's working and behaving itself. There we go, nice bowl of muck. So it's a little bit blobby. My suspicion is it's going to look a little bit grainy, but if I'm a bit more aggressive about it, I can bring it back. Chicken is in the oven, doing its thing, no problem. I'm going to bust out the probe in a minute. Trusty Thermopen. If you don't have a temperature probe in your oven, in your kitchen, I'd thoroughly recommend one. It just makes particularly meat cookery absolutely flawless. I would wholeheartedly recommend it. Whether it's cooking steaks or chicken as we are today, if you ever set custards, things like that, just getting the temperature spot on, that's the way to go. So just adding the rest of this stock now. Fiddle with some settings. Ugh. Why did YouTube do that? Fiddle with some settings. What was I saying? Can't remember. Something about stock. Just working that in now. Making quite a thick. It's sort of like, I mean, I'll probably get lynched for saying this, but it's like Cajun Creole style. You know, we really burn that roux down, a dark roux, and you make a thick American style gravy. Sometimes I think I could write pages upon pages about why we have different words in British and American cookery. I'm astonished at just how different our vocabulary is for talking about food. You know, when we talk about the grill and they talk about the broiler, it's mad. Okay, I've used all my stock now, and I think by the time all this is worked in, it's going to be just the right consistency. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So I think really I wouldn't do this in a frying pan next time. I'd use a much smaller pan so that this sauce part was easier to do, because I've got to keep rescuing bits from all over the pan. So remember I said earlier, if you dumped it all in, it would go blobby. Well, it's happened a little bit here. But if you keep beating it, they will go out. I suspect I needed a better fat to flour ratio at the beginning. It did ask you to measure the margarine, which I didn't. Okay, turn it down slightly. I'm going to check on stuff in the oven. 1 second. So our chicken is super happy actually. I didn't think it would cook that quickly. It's probably because I've been yakking away. Show you lovely guys there. Make sure you can see it okay. Whee, lovely chicken. And yeah, temperature's come up well. It's come up to, well, actually it's in the 80s at some point, which does surprise me. You want at least 70 degrees to see. I forget what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'm sure you can bark at your nearest search engine to tell you what that should be. So, I don't want to use that straight away. I'd rather that rested for a minute. So I'm just going to do that. And again, a bit like when you originally cooked it, we've got loads of good stuff here. So that's all. That's all going in there. That good chicken flavour. Because I've sat around and looked at this for a bit, this has gone a bit thick again, so I'm going to add some more water, I think. So, you know, I'm going to turn this down because we're done for cooking, but we're keeping it warm. We still need to incorporate a bit more water, and of course the cucumber. Instructions for the cucumber: peel cucumber, peel cucumber. I've done it in years. Cut into small dice. Okay, we can do that. No more washing up for me. Peel it. So you're supposed to use a half a cucumber for 4 people. Well, this is what I've got left today before the shopping comes on Friday. So I'm just going to do that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Tidy up, tidy up. Cut into small dice. Get rid of the manky bit on the end. Small dice. What dice like? 5mm? I don't know. You know, that looks like plenty. Make some little stacks here. Have I ever diced cucumber? I don't think so. It's surprisingly difficult. Cucumber is so wet. So I was going to add more water to this, but obviously cucumber contains a lot of water. So I think I'm still going to add a little bit though. Yeah. Gone a bit gummy, so splash more water. I'm going to beat that in, taste it. I have a suspicion the seasoning is going to be okay. I did a little bit of seasoning at the beginning, if you remember. And I've also added the stock cube. It's got plenty of seasoning in. All good. Excuse me a minute. There we go. Lovely. So I think it's going to be okay. We'll add a little bit of cream. 2 tablespoons. It's going to be what I've got left. What did I do? I made some ice cream at the weekend, and that's what's left. And I thought, that would be perfect for fried chicken with cucumber sauce. And that's not appealing at all. I really got to make sure that gets worked in, because that's not nice, is it? Look at it. Oh my god. Beating the cream into that gravy. I've definitely made way too much there. I think I'm going to do is get some of that off. I think actually it's going to work quite nicely in a potato bake tomorrow. So I'm going to cream it off. Oh, that's thick. Look at that. Doesn't need seasoning. Again, the stock cube's done all the work for me. Actually, no, stop. You see I stopped there. Because I am going to reserve some of this sauce. Got too much. Whenever you have a takeaway, save the containers. I'm going to turn the heat off that now, I think. Do you know what? I think actually, having talked to you about making lasagnas and the like, I think that'll actually make a lasagna. Very strong and chickeny, you know. A chicken lasagna. Haven't had one of those in years. Here we go, in with diced cucumber. I do some weird things on this channel, but cucumber and gravy, which is what we're talking about here. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Right. It says now reheat and pour over chicken. It's so thick. Hopefully the cucumber's going to let out some juice there. But let's clear up, plate up, and see where we end up. Move that out of the way, very, very dangerously. Rogue cucumber. You'll see this on the screen. Yeah, lovely, 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 lovely. Let's get a fork. I'll show you something. You hear that? Lovely crispy skin. Love it. Plenty of resting juices there, which, to be honest, they're going to go in the sauce. Just less for me to wash up, isn't it? Okay. The sauce. So again, I talked about seasoning earlier. I think this is going to be okay. Ready to ruin this lovely chicken with cucumber sauce. Here we go. Definitely too thick. Definitely too thick. Yeah, it's crying out for herbs, isn't it? You know, I've got some in the fridge, but it seems, I mean, I know I've tweaked the recipe a little bit, but made a mess. I've got some in the fridge, but it feels like I'm going too far from the recipe there. So let's have a look. There we go. Fried chicken with cucumber sauce. And how long has that taken us? 40 minutes. But, you know, I wasn't terribly busy, was I? And I spent longer doing the sauce than I needed to. Do you know what? The chicken smells all right. So let's get in there. Let's get in amongst. So, you know what? Let's put off the inevitable. Let's have a piece of chicken first. I bet it tastes like chicken. Yeah, no surprises there. So let's try a bit of sauce with cucumber in. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's weird, but it's not bad. Yeah, I don't want to make that actually. Let's try a bit with chicken and see how we get on. So let's tear off a bit of chicken. Make sure we've got some lovely cucumber in there as well. There you go, get that in your mush. It is odd, but I think that's expectation. You know, what is a cucumber for? Cucumber is for, you know, putting on a salad and having it, you know, is a. We've always got some in the kitchen because we eat it a lot. It's just a good standby. I never really use it as an ingredient. I just have it on the side as something. You might pickle it, but that gives you some freshness actually. Let's get a bit with some really crispy skin. Do that again. Make a big mess. That's quite pleasant. Will it enter my rotation? No, but it gives me ideas on what to do with cucumber in a savoury sauce. Very odd. Very bizarre. But, you know, I do kind of like it. Nothing else. I've got a nice sort of American sausage gravy type thing. It's not sausage gravy, but I think you know what I'm saying. So that was fried chicken with cucumber sauce from the Family Circle Thrifty Cookbook. I really enjoyed that, and there will be. I'm going to get some more out of that. As I said, cheese curry is one I've got made of my eye on, and the rest of you for second place voted spicy egg fluff. And I just like the name. It probably tastes gross, but calling it spicy egg fluff is inspired and genius. I love it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. The links are probably down there somewhere. Go and visit the web, bigspud.co.uk. You can see my Twitter links, my Instagram links, and if you enjoyed that, you can help support the channel by dropping me some money on Ko-fi. Again, the link's down there, kofi.com/bigspud. Hope you all have a great evening, and I'll see you all again soon. I am going to finish my dinner, so I will leave you there. Enjoy.